I'm waiting for nods, not seeing too many, so I will start. Hello, bonjour, kwe, and a warm welcome to everyone joining us today on our beautiful island. We're so proud that the ministers and their staff could walk from the Delta Hotel to join us here today and see some of the sights of our city. I'm Kim Griffin. I'm the Director of Sustainability and Corporate Affairs at Maritime Electric, and I will be your MC for today's event. It's such a pleasure to be here and welcome you today for this important announcement for Atlantic Canada's energy sector. It's windy, very typical of what a day on PEI is like. I would like to acknowledge the land on which we gather in Charlottetown sits on part of the unceded traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people who have occupied the island for over 12,000 years. We honor, recognize, and respect this Indigenous peoples as the traditional stewards of the lands in which we share today. To announce these exciting energy projects for our region that will help us deliver reliable, affordable, clean energy to customers is the Honourable Tim Hodgson, Minister of Energy and Natural Resources. Welcome, Minister. Yes, we have a tight timeline, so my job is to keep everything rolling.
Okay.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Okay. We'll manage the wind here. So good afternoon, everyone, and bonjour à tous. Thank you for joining us here in beautiful Charlottetown on the unceded territory of the Abugweb Mi'kmaq First Nation, as was just mentioned. This week at my first Energy and Mines Ministers Conference, I had the opportunity to continue building strong relationships with provincial territorial counterparts and highlight Canadian innovation and push forward shared priorities, including economic reconciliation. Investments such as those we are announcing today and partnerships like the one the government of Prince Edward Island with the government of Prince Edward Island and how we transform potential progress into make Canada an economic powerhouse. I'm honored to once again stand alongside Gilles Arsenault, I guess sitting beside Gilles Arsenault, Prince Edward Island's Minister of Environment, Energy and Climate Action, and First Nations industry and utility partners from across the Maritime provinces as we make investments that support local innovation and affordable energy bills while ensuring stronger, more secure energy future for all Canadians. Today's meeting in Charlottetown reinforces to me that this is the most united I have seen our country in my lifetime. For the first time in a long time, you have 13 jurisdictions plus the federal government rowing in the same direction with the same goal. And given the letter we saw from the President of the United States last night, it's hard to overstate how important this is. So what's the goal? Well, it's two things. To make Canada a clean and conventional energy superpower, and to build the strongest, most inclusive economy in the G7. And as our Prime Minister has said, we are living through a hinge moment in our history. Around the globe, economies are shifting. Markets are in flux. Tariffs from our southern neighbor threaten Canadian industry and Canadian jobs, from fisheries to sawmills to auto plants to oil rigs and beyond. We did not choose this trade war, but we will win this trade war. And by winning, we will create a new era of energy prosperity where the rising tide lifts all boats and where energy transition is opportunity. There are inspiring success stories right here in Prince Edward Island. The federal government's oil to heat pump affordability program in partnership with PEI has seen incredible results, the best in the country. In fact, nearly 7,000 low and median income islanders have already received new electric heat pumps and begun to save money, reduce their carbon footprint, and have a more comfortable home. In fact, demand was so high the last month, Prince Edward Island reached its intake targets ahead of schedule for the program. That tells us something. When solutions are affordable and practical, they are in demand. And Islanders have shown national leadership in this regard. Building on successes like these that matched good policy, good economics, and good outcomes for Canadians, I'm proud today to announce $16 million in federal funding for new energy projects here in the Maritime provinces. These investments will help transform this region into an engine of sustainable energy innovation. They are driving growth, supporting good local jobs, driving down family energy bills, and solidifying Canada's position as an energy superpower on the global stage, so we can remain autonomous, secure, and prosperous. Here on the island, Maritime Electric's grid modernization program will harness a $2 million investment to demonstrate state-of-the-art smart grid integration across Charlottetown, proving that a city like this one can be a leader on the Canadian energy map. In Nova Scotia, we're investing $6 million in Nova Scotia Power's advanced distribution grid management project, modernizing the distribution network with leading-edge smart grid technologies. This means cleaner, more reliable energy for homes and businesses, and a grid that is ready for the future as demand grows. Halifax's Dalhousie University will receive just over $700,000 to develop potential policies and regulations to better support offshore carbon storage, paving the way for innovation that will help offshore energy reduce emissions. We are also investing $875,000 in Antigonish, which will help the Alternative Resource Energy Authority link end user demand with local renewable power, saving costs and maximizing energy use. And in St. John, New Brunswick, another $5.25 million will be allocated to help St. John Energy launch the Advanced Digital Distribution System Operator, which will deliver cost savings and improved service and reliability to customers in St. John. The final project I'm announcing today highlights a core value of this federal government: the inclusion and leadership of Indigenous peoples in energy. The government is proud to partner with Millbrook First Nation on a commitment of $1 million to build a solar farm near Truro, breathing new life into the repurposed industrial lands while ensuring equity ownership and economic opportunity stays in Indigenous hands. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a time to build, to think big, to come together. As we speak, we are shaping an energy future that is clean and conventional, inclusive and competitive, regional and national. One that drives productivity, attracts investment, and creates prosperity across every province and territory. One that ensures that although we did not ask for this trade war, we will win this trade war. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Hodgson, for those inspiring words. I will now welcome the Honourable Gilles Arsenault, PEI's Minister of Environment, Energy and Climate Action, to say a few words on behalf of the Government of PEI.
Thank you. Bon après-midi. Good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today. As you know, Prince Edward Island has an ambitious goal of getting to net zero. We are working to reduce our emissions, generate more renewable energy while creating new economic opportunities and make life more affordable for islanders. We can only reach this goal through collaboration with governments, businesses, post-secondary institutions, and islanders. To get there, we need to ensure this collaboration is sustained and productive. With alignment with the federal government and our regional counterparts, we can turn our unique mix of natural resources into a comparative advantage for the low-carbon economy. Our government has worked hard to encourage islanders to reduce their reliance on fossil fuels. The free heat pump program has been up and running for a few years now with great uptake. We appreciate our federal partner helping us expand this service through funding from the Oil to Heat Pump Affordability Program. To take full advantage of our switch away from home heating fuel, we need to modernize our electricity distribution system to enhance efficiency. This investment in Maritime Electric's grid modernization is a welcome next step in a more reliable and efficient electrical system in our province. This is a significant step forward in smart grid technology to enhance grid reliability, resiliency, and efficiency. It will allow for more remote visibility and control of equipment by operators at Maritime Electric's Energy Control Center. This will enable faster fault detection and isolation, reduce outage duration, and enhance operational efficiency. PEI has weathered many storms, so anything we can do to get the power back on faster is great news. Moving forward, we need to explore more battery storage. We must pursue clean fuels and other innovative ideas, and we have to foster new clean technologies to help us along the path to net zero and build our grid resiliency. We will continue to pursue fuel switching to save energy so islanders can save money on their energy bills. And we must make sure the electricity that islanders rely on is clean, reliable, and affordable. To get there, we need to work together. We appreciate this continued federal support in ensuring a sustainable future for Prince Edward Island. I look forward to continuing to work together to tackle our climate and energy issues in the years to come. So thank you, everyone, and looking forward to chatting with you after this press conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Arsenault. Yes, let's hope for no storms. We're with you on that. I would now like to invite Peter Gregg, the President and CEO of Nova Scotia Power. Welcome.
Thanks very much. Appreciate that. Good afternoon. Hopefully that you can hear me all right. It's great to be here on PEI, and it's great to welcome Minister Hodgson to the Maritimes. Welcome. Thank you, Minister Arsenault, as well, and Maritime Electric for hosting our event. So thanks, Jason, for that. I'm happy to be here with my neighboring utilities, Maritime Electric, St. John Energy, also area from Nova Scotia as well. Together, we share a commitment to the clean energy transition and supporting the growth of renewable energy, and I think we would all agree, a lot of wind today, Atlantic Canada has so much potential. The key will be how we move projects forward together to the benefit of our customers with the infrastructure we need to get there, which is why I'm so pleased to be here for today's announcement. Grid modernization is a key to achieving our region's future energy goals. Our previous system was built for a different time. It was centralized generation, predictable demand, and the present and the future we're planning for is very different and very dynamic. As we work to modernize the grid to accommodate more renewables, the challenge is in maintaining the reliability and affordability that our customers value the most. That's where collaboration comes in, and today is a great example of this. It takes support from our regulators, our policymakers, rights holders, First Nations, and the private sector to get the best solution for customers. I'm so pleased to have the opportunity to thank the federal government and the minister for the funding and continued support of our projects to continue to modernize our network and improve our customers' experience. As we continue to add more renewable energy onto the grid, these new technologies can help us manage the grid and provide grid flexibility, provide more insights for customers on the energy they use, which in turn gives them more choice and control, and improve reliability of service for customers by reducing the number of power interruptions and the time it takes to restore power after outages. It's an exciting time, and we look forward to the continuing work together with all levels of government, neighboring utilities, and other partners on the very bright energy future for our region. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. We are pleased to invite Glen Fillmore from the Executive Director of Strategic Growth and Innovation for St. John Energy. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here on behalf of St. John Energy. We are thrilled to be one of the recipients of today's announcement and grateful to the Government of Canada for its investment in our advanced digital distribution system operator project. This advanced digital grid is one of the most exciting and innovative projects that St. John Energy has ever undertaken. It will leverage real-time data, smart technologies, and AI to help us manage the flow of electricity more intelligently. At the same time, it's so much more than that. It harnesses our successes in renewables, energy storage, smart grid, peak demand management to deliver big wins. And those are measurable customer savings, improved reliability, and better support for clean energy technologies. This advanced digital grid builds on our tradition of leading innovation to deliver even greater value to the more than 37,000 homes and businesses we serve in St. John. And it's more about, more than upgrading the grid. It's about transforming how we serve our community, putting customers first, and making our community's energy system more responsive, more resilient, and more sustainable. Thank you again for your support, and we are very proud to be part of this regional momentum. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. I'd now like to invite Jason Roberts, President and CEO of Maritime Electric.
Thanks, Kim. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Maritime Electric, we are so honored to host everybody here today. Minister Hodgson, Minister Arsenault, it's great to see you as well. We ordered up some sun and a little bit of wind for everybody, so it's a beautiful day here on Prince Edward Island, so I hope you enjoy it. The location for today's announcement is noteworthy. We very recently completed the historic demolition of the Charlottetown Thermal Generating Station, which significantly reduces our carbon footprint. This site still, though, serves as an energy hub for our customers. There's a substation here that serves the electrical load for the eastern side of Charlottetown, as well as areas east of Prince Edward, east of the island. As well, there's on-island backup dispatchable generation sitting right next door to us, and the company's energy control center, which operates Prince Edward Island's electricity grid, is right here. This site is very important for us and will continue to be so. Today's funding announcement for the Charlottetown Grid Modernization Project will provide our system operators at the Energy Control Center enhanced visibility over the distribution system and enable them to identify and isolate an outage and restore power remotely, thereby improving reliability for our customers. Throughout the project, Maritime Electric will study, design, and install and operate smart grid equipment here in Charlottetown, accelerating the deployment of smart grid technology in our capital city. The project will also enhance our operational efficiency and the resiliency of the electrical grid here in Charlottetown. This funding partnership is a key step forward for our company in finding new and innovative ways to improve service delivery for our customers. Experience gained will help Maritime Electric take the next steps to modernize the distribution grid right across the island, to manage electrification and to improve reliability. The electricity industry across the region, and indeed the entire country, is going through significant change. This presents us not only with challenges, but also numerous opportunities that we are eager to embrace. While we work every day on our electrical system to continue improving reliability for our customers, we also remain focused on affordability. Funding from Natural Resource Canada allows us to implement projects like this that support our customers in a very affordable way. As Prince Edward Island's provincial electricity provider, Maritime Electric remains dedicated to working diligently to deliver a safe, reliable, and sustainable energy future for our customers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason. I welcome James Stevens, Director of Commercial Operations at Millbrook First Nations, to say a few words as well. Welcome.
Thank you so much. So the project, the Dartmouth Renewable Project, is an Indigenous-led, or community-led, majority-owned 8-megawatt solar farm that will deliver clean, renewable energy to the Nova Scotia Power grid in late 2027. Millbrook First Nation, in collaboration with Imperial Oil, intend to construct an 8-megawatt solar farm with photovoltaic arrays and potentially battery energy storage systems at Imperial's Dartmouth terminal. This project will repurpose idle tank lots at the terminal that have remained vacant since the terminal was converted from a refinery in 2014. This project is Indigenous-led and First Nation majority-owned. The renewable electricity generated by the solar farm will offset a primarily coal and fossil fuel-based electricity currently used in Nova Scotia to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and decarbonize the Nova Scotia grid. Supported by Natural Resource Canada, Indigenous Natural Resource Partnerships, INRP, funding, the project contributes to eliminating barriers to meaningful First Nation participation in the renewable energy sector by providing critical access to funding for Millbrook First Nation to ensure commercial, technical, and financial expertise to support project development activities and enable First Nation majority ownership. This project will support Canada's transition to clean energy by increasing Nova Scotia's renewable energy generation portfolio, reducing reliance on current fossil fuel source generation, and ultimately reducing greenhouse gas emissions in the Nova Scotia energy sector. So our current activities, Millbrook First Nation continues to work with Imperial Oil throughout the pre-development of the project, including most recently the coordination of a geotechnical investigation to refine the overall solar farm design. Millbrook First Nation, alongside Colliers, will also continue to work with the Nova Scotia Power to assess the feasibility of grid interconnection and securing an offtake agreement for access power not required by Imperial's terminal. The next steps for Millbrook is once the project design and interconnection feasibility has been finalized, Millbrook First Nation will work with Colliers to assess the financial feasibility, followed by substantive community engagement activities to gather input from the Millbrook First Nation community members and ultimately decide if the Dartmouth Renewable Project is a sound opportunity for our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, James. We are pleased to also have Ray Robinson, President and CEO of Alternate Resource Energy Authority, as well to speak with us. Welcome.
Thank you, Kim.
Well, good afternoon. And I just want to maybe mention what our organization is. It's really, some years ago, there were 3 towns which each have their own municipal electric utilities. They all came together and created an organization called an acronym of AREA. And AREA then developed and is now owning and operating a wind farm, and the output from that farm is delivered through Nova Scotia Power's transmission system to each of the owner municipal utilities. So we're affiliated with Antigonish and Mahone Bay and Berwick, and we have a looser relationship with Riverport, which are their 4 towns that each have their own municipal electric utilities. And so on that success, the towns each have also developed their own solar gardens, which have largely come online as well. And so this project now is intended to continue with the modernization of the utility grids, and also ensuring that customers can be more informed as to and more aware of the energy that they're using as well, so they can make their choice as to how they use energy for themselves. So I want to just step back and there's a number of thanks here. First of all, to NRCan and the minister responsible for providing the funding for this project. I want to have a real shout out to the staff at NRCan that really shepherded us through the process all the way along. They were very, very helpful. And also to St. John Energy. They have a very substantial project, also partly funded by NRCan, and so we're sort of on their in their wake or on their coattails. And St. John Energy with Glenn and his team have been real mentors and partners to us every step of the way, and so that's greatly appreciated. And certainly, Jason, you and your team for hosting the event today. It's couldn't have done better with the weather, man. That's fantastic. And lastly, I just wanted to thank the board of directors of AREA, the organization that I'm heading, as well as the towns and the councils that are supportive of the project as well. I just want to mention that really this project would not have been possible in the scope that it is without that funding. You know, being small is great. You can be nimble, but also comes with challenges. You know, with being so small, there are challenges related to access to both capital and to expertise. And so this funding enables both of those in a much greater way than we ever could have done on our own. So it's just so important, and so we're so thankful that we've got the funding now that we can move forward, not just with the capital and the expertise, but a number of partnerships that are in place here. So the other thing that what I think is really important related to this project and the ultimate end users or the consumers, it really is, although it's modernizing the grid, but it's taking advantage of technology in a way that consumers then are going to be able to make choices that they can take greater control of their own energy future, their own energy destiny. In a highly regulated environment where customers feel that they don't have choices sometime, this enables some choices as to how they use their own energy, how they make investments, how they may change their behaviors. And all of that, I think, is really incredible to make everybody just a little bit more conscious of the environment around them and how they use the energy to maximum effect. So with that, I'll just say once again, thank you for everyone that was part of making this project possible for us. So have a good afternoon.
Thank you, and I'd also like to welcome Grant Watt to share a few remarks as well. And I hope I got the pronunciation of your last name correct.
It's Watt,
Do
but
tell.
that'll work. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kim. I guess I'm batting cleanup, so I think maybe the Blue Jays will be giving me a call soon. But I just wanted to echo Minister Hodgson's comments and also Mr. Stevens' comments about our need to make our climate targets. And to do that, we're going to have CO2 storage, carbon storage, and the best reservoirs for storing that are going to be offshore in Atlantic Canada. But how do we achieve that? First thing you need is a regulatory framework. If you don't know the regulations, how is industry going to know the benchmarks? How is government going to know? So we have to break down and develop the regulations between federal and also interprovincial boundaries to be able to allow this to occur. And we really welcome the NRCan's investment in the project, but it's closer to $1 million, Minister. We have over $200,000 coming from the province of Nova Scotia, plus in-kind contributions from our partner Sproul and also Dalhousie University. Now, Dalhousie University is Canada's Oceans University. We have the technology to do this. And many of the folks I spoke to are Dal grads. So based on the people here, we do have the technology to do this. But we also have to work with existing regulations through Environment and Climate Change Canada, Nova Scotia and Newfoundland Energy Boards, and also several others. We have to make sure we have a seamless jurisdiction where we can be able to get this to work. And one of the comments you said is, let's make Canada an energy powerhouse. And one of the things we can do is develop that. We can use CO2 as a market. We have to inject CO2. That could be a market opportunity for Canada. The U.S. has a lot of CO2, and they'll be looking for places to store that. So I really like to thank our partners. I really like to thank NRCan. And we also have to really involve, for example, the Millbrook Nation. We have to make MACA involvement in here, and we'd love to talk to you about what regulatory framework is going to engage and require. So thank you very much, folks. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Grant. A lot of excitement about building an energy superpower indeed. We'd like to say thank you to everyone who joined us today. Minister Hodgson and Minister, thank you for this exciting announcement. You can probably feel the excitement. I know you can feel the wind here, but with certainly a lot of excitement to grow this superpower and the announcements for our region. Thank you. Merci and Wellalin, and see you again soon, as Islanders often say. I hope you'll stay to join us for some local refreshments, including PEI Lobster, to celebrate energy for the future. We will now open up the session to questions from the media, and Carolyn will moderate the media availability. Carolyn, great. I know some people are online as well, if I recall correctly. And then post the media, there will be some group pictures. So we'll just hand it over to you now, and thank you again so much.
Our speakers. I think we have a couple folks in the room and a couple folks online, so I'll open it to those in the room first. If there's any media here who'd like to ask a question, you can feel free to come to the mic, and if you have a specific speaker you'd like to address your question to, just please let us know and also state your name and the outlet that you're reporting from.
Hi there, Stu Neepy from The Guardian. I guess a question to Mr. Hodgson. Just on the announcement of funding for the smart grid with Maritime Electric, wonder if you could clarify how much is actually going to the Maritime Electric specific smart grid program, and is that in addition to, I believe it was a $19 million funding amount that was announced in 2023? Like, is this new money?
It is new money, and I'll have to get you the details afterwards. I don't have them right off the bat, but we'll talk afterwards and I'll get them for you.
Okay, I guess maybe just a question for the CEO of Maritime Electric. I mean, customers just had a rate increase in March of 2.7%. So with this financial assistance from the federal government, will that be defraying any further rate increases for customers in the future or even in the coming months?
So to the extent that the federal government or the provincial government supports us with these types of projects, that's money essentially that customers do not get asked to pay for. So the answer is yes. This is a important funding announcement for us today, and that does help defray future costs that flow through to customers. So it's a good story for sure.
As near as I can tell, Iraq has already approved the increases for this very project, for the $67 million smart grid project. So why the need for more federal public dollars if customers are already paying for these upgrades?
So the filing that we made as part of our capital budget application for this project did contemplate federal funding. It was part of our submission and our responses to the commission, so it was discussed as part of the capital budget process. So it was anticipated. It helps.
How much was contemplated, I guess, for
the
additional?
2 million.
$2 million.
Yes, I'm staying up here.
Another question for the CEO of Maritime Electric. I'm going to begin from CBC.
Welcome to PEI.
You got him.
I'm wondering what the timeline of the rollout on these smart meters is going to be and what that's going to mean for customers of Maritime Electric.
So to be clear, the announcement today is for the grid modernization project. The AMI project that you're referring to is a separate project for which we received $19 million in funding from the federal government. So two separate projects. This project, the smart metering AMI project, was approved by the commission last year. So we are in the process of bringing our teams together to design the rollout. We've actually acquired the meters. They're here on the island. So the first step will be what's called a proof of concept. We'll have a small number of meters. We'll test the communication system, which is a key aspect of the smart metering project. And then a proof of concept, pilot project, and then full deployment. So over the course of the next 2 to 3 years is when you'll see those meters rolled out. So it takes a little bit of time. You're talking 90,000 customers, so it does take a bit of time to get them out there.
And so then this funding announcement today, what will that mean for customers of Maritime Electric?
So this is a grid modernization project. So basically, we're going to put equipment out on the system that will allow us to much more quickly see outages when they occur. It'll allow us to isolate the outages to smaller groups of customers so that when we do have an outage, there's not a lot of customers impacted. And we'll have visibility on where the outage is occurring. We can get our trucks there on site, assess the damage or the cause much more quickly, thereby improving the reliability results for the island.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no more questions in the room, I believe we have one online, so I will pass it to the online moderator.
Thank you, Karen. We have Rahim Mohammed with the National Post. Rahim, you were receiving a request on each microphone. Simply click accept and indicate what your question is for, and go ahead and ask your question. Thank you.
Hello, Minister Hodgson. Very nice to see you again. So I guess Canada I think we're celebrating 10 days of being an LNG exporting nation, which I'm sure we're all very excited about. In the past, we've had a number of European countries, notably Germany, say that they want Canada to play a major role as they wean off natural gas from Russia. Can you give me a sense of what you think the business case is at present for a East Coast LNG terminal serving markets in Europe and hopefully displacing some of that Russian product?
So the federal government doesn't decide what the business case is. The proponent who proposes it decides the business case. What they will do is they'll look for customers. If those customers are willing to pay what would cover the cost of a East Coast LNG facility, then I'm assuming they would bring that project forward for consideration. If it met the 5 criteria laid out in the Act, we would be more than happy to look at it as a potential project of national interest.
And do you think it is within Canada's national interest to help our allies in the European Union, in Europe, wean themselves off of hostile Russian natural gas?
So I think it is absolutely in Canada's interest and for Canada to be strong. I often talk about that picture we all have in our minds of sitting in the Oval Office and that painful experience that President Zelensky had, where he was lectured about how he had no cards. And recently, the President of the United States has insinuated that Canada has no cards. And I will make the observation that sometimes what the President says is actually the opposite of what is true. And so when he says we don't need Canada's autos, we don't need Canada's steel, we don't need Canada's aluminum, we don't need Canada's lumber, we don't need Canada's uranium, we don't need Canada's potash, we don't need Canada's electricity, I kind of think he needs all those things. And it is in our interest to make sure we have the ability to sell all of our products to as many allies as possible. We should be selling to all of our allies who are like-minded, not just the allies that happen to sit across the border. That is in Canada's interest. That is what makes Canada strong.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Chris. I'll pass it back to Kim to wrap up the event.
Thanks again, everyone. Thank you to the media who joined us today and were part of this celebration. I would just ask that the funding recipients stay up here for a photo with the ministers, and everyone else can enjoy some great food at the back. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Have a great day and enjoy PEI. Spend lots of money here. Thank you.